Imagine this. You've clawed your way from nothing, dirt floors and borrowed beats, to a life where you can drop 30 grand on a whim, only to walk into a store and have them treat you like you're there to rob it, all because your black skin doesn't match their marble and gold world. That's the gut punch I took one sweltering Miami day. I'm Tyrone Williams, a music producer who's turned dreams into platinum plaques, and what unfolded in that jewelry store wasn't just about a watch. It was a war for my worth. Get ready. This ride's got twists, fury, and a hell of a payoff. It was Friday, July 19th, the kind of Miami day where the humidity wraps around you like a wet towel, thick and unrelenting. I'd just come off a brutal month in the studio, 16-hour stretches, Red Bull-fueled nights, and a track I produced for JC On, a rapper whose last album went triple platinum. The song, Heat Wave, dropped at midnight, and by noon, it was tearing up the charts, trending on every platform from Spotify to TikTok. My phone pinged with notifications, congrats from my crew, a text from my accountant about the latest royalty deposit, and a call from my mom, proud as ever, saying, "You did it again, baby." I grinned, feeling the weight of it all. I grew up in Overtown, a rough patch of Miami where the streets smelled like asphalt and broken promises. Back then, I'd made beats on a secondhand laptop with a cracked screen, dreaming of the day I'd escape the roaches and the gunshots. Now, at 38, I bill a name, Ty Beast Williams, stacking hits for artists who filled stadiums. That morning's deposit pushed my bank account into 7 figures, and I decided it was time to mark the moment. I've been eyeing a Rolex Oyster Perpetual, rose gold, 41 millimeters, understated but dripping with class. $30,000. A fortune to the kid I'd been, but a flex I'd earned. I rolled up to Diamond Luxe in Bal Harbour, a ritzy plaza where the air smelled like money and sunscreen. My Tesla, matte black, custom rims, purred into the lot, drawing a few stares from valet guys in starched polos. I wasn't dressed flashy, just a white t-shirt, black joggers, and a Miami Heat cap pulled low over my fade. Didn't need to peacock. My success was in the music, not my threads. The store loomed ahead, all glass and chrome, flanked by palm trees swaying lazily in the heat. I locked the car, the chirp cutting through the hum of wealth, and stepped inside. The AC hit me like a cold slap, a relief after the sticky outdoors. The place was pristine, marble floors, glass cases glittering with diamonds, gold chains, and watches that cost more than most people's houses. Classical music floated through the air, soft and pretentious, mingling with the clink of a champagne flute from some VIP in the back. A couple of customers, white, gray-haired, decked in Gucci and Prada, browsed with that quiet confidence I'd never mastered, even now. I nodded at the security guard by the door, a stocky dude with a buzz cut and a stare that lingered too long, then headed for the Rolex display. I'd done my research. I knew what I wanted. That's when Claire appeared. Mid-30s, blonde hair pulled tight in a bun, navy blazer sharp enough to cut glass. Her name tag gleamed under the lights, and her smile was all teeth, no warmth. "Can I help you?" she asked, but her tone carried an edge, like she was sizing up a problem, not a customer. Her eyes flicked over me, cap, sneakers, skin, and I caught the shift. It was subtle, but I'd seen it my whole life. Suspicion wrapped in a polite package. "Yeah," I said, keeping my cool. "I'm here for the Oyster Perpetual. Rose gold, 41 millimeters. You got it." Her smile faltered, just a twitch like she'd misheard. "That's a very specific choice," she said, pausing. "It's quite expensive. Over $30,000. Her voice hung there, testing me, waiting for me to balk. "I know," I said, locking eyes with her. "Can I see it?" She nodded, but it was slow, reluctant, like she was stalling. She moved to the case, her heels clicking deliberately on the floor, and I saw her glance toward the counter. Another employee, a skinny white guy with wire-rimmed glasses, watched me from behind a register, his head tilted like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. They swapped a look, quick, silent, but heavy with meaning. My gut tightened. "Here we go." Claire unlocked the case, pulling out the Rolex with exaggerated care, like it might vanish if I got too close. She set it on a velvet pad, the rose gold catching the light, the oyster dial shimmering. It was fire, exactly what I'd pictured. "This is it," she said, her voice flat. "It's a limited piece. Maybe you prefer something more accessible? We have options over here." She waved toward a case of cheaper watches, 5, 6 grand tops, like I'd stumbled into the wrong tax bracket. "Nah," I said, leaning in to admire the Rolex. "This is it. Can I try it on?" Her lips pursed, tight as a drum. "We usually require some verification for high-value items," she said, folding her arms. "You understand, right? Store policy. Verification." I straightened, my voice sharpening. "What's that mean? You want my ID?" "It's just procedure," she said, but her eyes darted to the security guard, who shifted closer, his boots scuffing the floor. "We have to be careful. There's been incidents." "Incidents?" The word landed like a brick. She didn't say it, but I heard it. "People like you." My pulse kicked up, a familiar heat creeping up my neck, but I kept my face stone cold. "Cool. Verify me then. I'm buying it." She didn't budge. Instead, she tilted her head, scanning me again. "Maybe you'd like to look around first?" "No rush." I laughed, short, dry, bitter. "I'm not here to browse. I want that watch. Now." That's when the air shifted. Claire stepped back, her hand brushing the counter, fingers grazing what looked like a panic button. "Sir," she said, louder, "I need you to lower your voice. We don't tolerate disruptions." "Disruptions?" The heat in my chest flared. "I'm a customer, lady. You're the one stalling." The skinny guy piped up, his voice high and nasal. "Sir, if you can't cooperate, we'll have to ask you to leave." "Leave?" I spun toward him, incredulous. "I'm here to drop 30 grand, and you're kicking me out?" Claire's face hardened, her fake smile gone. "We reserve the right to refuse service. If you're not serious." "Not serious?" I cut her off, yanking my wallet from my pocket. I slapped my black Amex card on the counter, matte finish, heavy, the kind of card that screams power. "Run it. 30K. Let's go." Her eyes widened for a split second, but she recovered, clutching at control. "That's not how it works. We need to." "Need to what?" I snapped, my voice rising. "Check if it's stolen. Call my mom to vouch for me. What's the damn holdup?" The guard moved in, his bulk blocking the aisle, one hand resting on his belt, too close to his holster for my liking. "Sir, calm down, or we'll escort you out." "Calm down," I barked, loud enough to turn heads. "I'm calm. I'm trying to buy a watch, and you're treating me like I'm casing the joint." Claire grabbed a phone from under the counter, her fingers trembling. "I'm calling security," she said, projecting her voice like she wanted an audience. The older couple, browsing nearby, turned, staring, their brows raised like I was some street performer gone rogue. "Security?" I laughed again, sharper, angrier. "For what? Being black in your fancy-ass store?" She froze, the phone halfway to her ear, her mouth twitching, but no denial coming. The guard grabbed my arm, firm enough to make my blood boil. "Let's go," he said, pulling. I yanked free, my cap tumbling to the floor. "Get your hands off me. I'm a customer, not a damn thief." The skinny guy bolted to the back, probably fetching a manager, while Claire dialed, her voice shaky as she muttered into the receiver. The guard lunged again, this time gripping my shoulder. "Outside now," he growled. I shoved him off, my temper snapping. "Touch me again, and we got a problem." That's when the manager waddled out, a short, balding white guy in a suit straining at the seams, his face red from the heat or the drama. I couldn't tell. "What's going on here?" he barked, glaring between me and Claire. "Your staff," I said, pointing at her, "thinks I can't afford this watch 'cause I'm black. That's what's going on." He blinked, thrown off, then turned to Claire. "What's he talking about?" She stammered. "He's being aggressive, sir. I asked for verification and Aggressive? I cut in, my voice booming now. "I asked to buy a Rolex, and she's acting like I'm here to stick you up." The manager rubbed his temples, irritation creasing his forehead. "Let's all calm down. Sir, can you prove you can pay for this?" "Prove it." I snatched my Amex off the counter and thrust it at him. "Run it. 30,000. Do it." He took the card, hesitating, then handed it to Claire. "Process it," he said, his tone clipped, like he just wanted this over. She stared at him, then at me, her jaw tight, disbelief written all over her. Go on, I said, crossing my arms. Or you want to frisk me first? Pat me down. She swiped the card, her hands fumbling, and the machine beeped. Transaction approved. The room went dead quiet, the tension so thick it pressed against my chest. Claire's face flushed crimson, her composure cracking. The guard stepped back, muttering something I didn't catch. The manager forced a laugh, awkward, hollow. Well, looks like we're good. Congratulations, sir. I didn't smile. Wrap it up. I'm out of here. She scrambled with the box, her fingers slipping as she packed the Rolex, the rose gold glinting under the lights. The skinny guy slunk back, avoiding my gaze, and the older couple whispered to each other, sneaking glances like I was the evening's entertainment. I stood there, arms crossed, watching her sweat, her perfect bun unraveling strand by strand. When she handed me the bag, I took it without a word, grabbed my card and cap, and walked out. The guard trailed me to the door, his presence a silent accusation even now. Back in my Tesla, I tossed the bag on the passenger seat and sat there, staring at the watch through the window box. It was mine, earned with every late night, every beat I'd scratched out, every door slammed in my face. But the victory tasted off, bitter, like a drink left out too long. I'd walked in with pride, cash in hand, and walked out feeling like I'd had to beg for what was mine. My phone buzzed, a text from my boy Dre. Heard heat wave hit number 1. You good? I didn't reply. Not yet. That night, I had a gig, a sold-out show at Miami Beach's Fillmore. I wore the Rolex, the rose gold catching the stage lights as I worked the crowd, the bass thumping through my bones. 10,000 people screamed my name, hands in the air, and I raised my wrist, letting the watch shine, a silent fuck you to Claire, the guard, every doubter who'd ever looked at me sideways. Backstage, my crew mobbed me, Dre, my engineer Malik, my sister Keisha, all hyped, passing around a bottle of Hennessy. You shut it down, bro. Malik yelled, slapping my back. I smirked, but the weight of the day lingered. The story didn't end there. Sunday morning, I woke up to my phone blowing up. Texts, calls, notifications. Keisha barged in my condo, her braids swinging, waving her phone. Ty, you viral fam. Turns out one of the customers, a middle-aged woman with a Birkin bag, had filmed the whole thing on her phone. The clip hit Twitter, me slamming the card down, calling out Claire, the manager's awkward backpedal. The caption read, Black man tries to buy Rolex, gets profiled instead. SMH. It had 50K retweets by noon. Blogs jumped on it. Black producer school's racist jewelry staff, and my fans went wild. Diamond Lux's Yelp page tanked, flooded with 1-star reviews. Racist as hell. Don't shop here if you're black. Fire Claire. My inbox filled with messages, support from strangers, outrage from peers, even a DM from JC on. Yo, they tried you? That's fucked up. Next track's on me. I laughed, shaking my head. Monday, the store tweeted an apology. We're committed to inclusivity and regret any misunderstanding. But it was weak, corporate bullshit. I didn't respond. Didn't need to. The watch stayed on my wrist, a trophy and a scar, a reminder of where I'd come from and what I'd overcome. A week later, I took my mom to dinner, Cuban spot in Little Havana, her favorite. She spotted the Rolex right away, her eyes lighting up. Oh, Tyrone, it's beautiful, she said, grabbing my wrist. Then her smile faded. Keisha told me what happened. You okay? I nodded, squeezing her hand. Yeah, Ma. They can't stop me. She smiled again, softer. Never could, baby. Never will. That night, I sat in my studio, the Rolex ticking on my wrist, and started a new beat. The bass hit hard, the melody sharp, a track about rising, fighting, winning. It wasn't just for me. It was for every kid in Overtown dreaming big, every black face told they don't belong. Diamond Lux could keep their marble floors and fake smiles. I keep building my empire one beat at a time.